Hey, Anna. What in the hell is happening that you live in such a big house with a big yard? You're so ugly you belong in a pigsty.
Mother? I haven't heard from you in a while, and now you're bad-mouthing me again?
I'm not bad-mouthing you. I'm just telling you the truth. I left a letter in your mailbox. Did you read it?
I haven't read it yet. I'm on a business trip, so I won't be able to check it until tomorrow.
Oh, you work well enough to go on a business trip? I was wondering what kind of bottom-tier job you have.
I don't think there's such a thing as a bottom-tier job. I'm in sales.
Oh, well, whatever.
I mean, how did you know where I live now? I didn't even tell you where I lived. I was going to cut ties with you.
I didn't want anything to do with you ever again either. I don't even consider an ugly, slow-witted girl like you to be my daughter. But Rebecca insisted. I had no choice.
Rebecca insisted?
If you haven't read the letter, I'll tell you what it says. You get a divorce and get the hell out of that house. And give your husband and your gorgeous house to Rebecca.
Huh? What do you mean? It's absolutely ridiculous for me to give up my husband to my little sister. How could I do that?
Well, while Rebecca was hanging out with her friends, she saw you and a guy walking together, and the guy was exactly her type.
What?
She followed you to find out what was going on, and she said you guys went into the same house together.
She followed us?
Of course. She even checked with the neighbors and got information that you two were a married couple.
That's how you found out where I lived, huh?
You live in a house with a big yard, so your husband must be rich, right? Perhaps he's the president of some company? I wonder how an ugly woman like you managed to get such a great catch. I feel sorry for your husband that he is married to you. I've enclosed the divorce papers with the letter, so just leave him.
What? I don't get it. Why are you so obsessed with me? I thought you only needed Rebecca as your daughter.
That's right, you're ugly and I don't need you. You ran away from home 10 years ago and never came back. Even though it was a coincidence, Rebecca had finally found you. I had no idea you were married. And with a man of Rebecca's type, and before Rebecca is married. This is just a dig at the beautiful and cute Rebecca, isn't it? Just because you can't beat your sister with your ugly face, I can't believe you take a dig at her like this. It's scary how unattractive ugly people can be.
I don't know what type of men Rebecca likes. You say you don't want me, so leave me alone. I'm not going to get involved with such a terrible family again.
Anyway, Rebecca likes your husband. If you feel bad that you got married before the beautiful Rebecca, divorce him quickly and give him to Rebecca. Rebecca says she'll forgive you if you give your husband and the house to her within a month. You, the ugly big sister, should give them to your pretty little sister.
You're so rude.
Huh?
I'm not giving my husband to Rebecca. He's not a thing. Tell Rebecca to give up my husband and find someone else.
Anna, don't be selfish.
Selfish? I'm selfish.
You're being selfish no matter how you look at it. It's the role of an ugly big sister to fulfill her pretty little sister's wishes. I always thought you were never meant to be born and that you were an obstacle. But maybe this is what you were born for? Stop messing around and do your job. Your husband would rather have a pretty girl than an ugly one.
You're not making any sense. I just sent my husband a screenshot of your texts.
Oh, really? He's saying that he's dumping the ugly wife to be with Rebecca, isn't he?
He says he doesn't want to.
What? Well, he can only say that for now. If he meets Rebecca in person, I'm sure he'll fall in love with her at first sight. I'll set him up on a date with Rebecca, so tell him to give me his contact information.
He says he doesn't want to do that either.
What?
You know what? He knows that I've lived my whole life being abused by my mother and my sister. You guys have been hurting me since I was a little girl, calling me ugly and slowpoke. He hates you even more than I do.
Huh? It's only natural that my love and affection go out to my sweet Rebecca. First of all, the reason you get hurt when people call you ugly and slowpoke is because you really are ugly and slowpoke, aren't you? If you're as perfect and beautiful as Rebecca is, any kind of slander you receive will be nothing more than a form of jealousy. If you're shocked, that means you're ugly and slowpoke. What's wrong with calling ugly people ugly? I'm just telling the truth. Don't play the victim with me.
Yeah, you're right. You guys have been saying that for a long time. You've been undermining me ever since my beloved father died. You've been spending the inheritance my father left me, and neither you nor Rebecca are working at all. Now you're going to rip off my husband, aren't you? Did my father's inheritance already run out? It's a shame that you have to rely on me, the ugly and slowpoke person, to get money. But, well, my husband doesn't like Rebecca. So I hope you won't get involved anymore.
Oh dear, I'm not going to get anywhere talking to you. I have no choice but to come over tomorrow with Rebecca.
What? You're coming?
I'm going to ask your husband to take a shine to Rebecca. Rebecca is so cute. I bet he'll fall in love with her at first sight. He's been looking at your ugly face for so long, his eyes might be getting rotten. But I'm sure Rebecca's beauty will heal them.
Your words don't make sense. Well, my husband and I are both at work, so we won't be here.
You just need to take some time off.
Don't make it sound so easy. It's a big mistake to think that everything will go your way.
Your husband is the president of the company, so he can be flexible with his time off. Anyway, you should definitely be home tomorrow. Also, it would be better to proceed with the divorce right away. If you're not home, why don't you have your husband open the letter and write the divorce papers first?
Don't just push things from one side. Besides, my husband is not the president.
Quit being selfish. I'll see you tomorrow.
That's enough.
Hey, Anna. What are you waiting for? Come pick us up. We're at your house and you haven't come out for ages. Don't tell me you're not home. Rebecca's looking forward to seeing her new husband.
Wow, you're really here. I told you I'm working.
I told you to be home. Don't you feel bad for Rebecca?
Not at all.
What?
We've never been getting along to begin with, so why would I feel sorry for her? I think we're as good as cut off from each other. I don't want to see you, and I don't want you to get involved in my life. I mean, can't you see that I'm usually not around when you barge in on a weekday afternoon like this? Well, I guess unemployed people like you and Rebecca don't understand. You completely lack understanding of others' inconvenience, don't you? I'm sure you're parking the car sideways in front of our house now, blocking the way, aren't you? Can you please leave now?
What a rude daughter.
I refuse to be your daughter. Oh, I'll take this as a good opportunity. I'll start calling you by your name, Madeline.
Fine. Well, I'll let you off the hook for today. But you're sorely mistaken if you think things will go your way.
Hey, sis. Stop being so mean to me just because you can't beat me with your ugly face. Why aren't you giving your husband to me? Rebecca, did you come with your mother? You're still at the front of our house, aren't you? Yes, I am. Why did an ugly woman like you get married before me? And why are you living in such a beautiful house with a big yard? And with such a handsome president who's rolling in dough? That house is mine. Hey, watch your mouth. Don't talk about my husband like that. Well, whatever. He's my husband now. Think about it. Instead of being married to an ugly woman like you, since I'm a pretty woman, your husband will be happier if he marries me, don't you think? If you really love your husband, why don't you think about his happiness and step aside? What are you saying? I don't understand. I guess you don't get it, you ugly asshole sister. Ugly assholes should act like one, you know. I came all the way here to marry your husband. Not only are you not divorced, you're not even home. Don't you dare treat me like an asshole. Rebecca, you've always wanted what's mine, and you always took things away from me. You've never given me anything back. So what? You, the ugly big sister, should be giving your pretty little sister whatever she wants. What's yours is mine. That's the rule in the house. I've already moved out of my parents' house, so I won't follow that rule. I don't care what you say. I'm not giving you my husband. Oh, right. Then I'll make sure you know your place. I'll make you regret your overbearing ways. Prepare yourself. Madeline, what the hell has happened to my front door in the yard? It was you and Rebecca, wasn't it?
What are you talking about?
The front door has been painted that reads, "Give me back my husband," and "The wife of this house is a predatory woman." And the flower beds in the garden have been raised.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea whatsoever. Don't tell me you're trying to pin this on me and Rebecca by making up your own story. Oh well, the envy of the ugly person goes this far, huh? It's disgusting.
It's no use playing dumb. We have security cameras installed in our house.
Camera?
Not only at the entrance, but also in the yard. I caught Madeline and Rebecca having fun and getting into trouble. Well, it's an ugly sight that makes you want to cover your eyes. It's enough as evidence, isn't it?
Oh, well, if that's the case, well, fine. Well, now you know, don't you? This is what happens when you make me and Rebecca angry. If you understand, then get off your ass and give your handsome husband to your sister.
Are you still saying that?
Of course. If you don't get a divorce, you'll get hurt. Maybe someone will attack you on the street at night.
That's a blackmail charge, says my husband.
Huh?
The front door and the flower beds are property damage charges.
Huh? I don't like it. You're starting to sound like a cop.
Yeah, my husband is a police officer. Is that okay with you?
What?
Nah, how can you be okay, right?
A police officer? Wait a minute. Your husband is not the president?
I never said anything like that.
I was deceived. You're the one guilty of fraud.
Can you please stop playing the victim? You're the one who made the mistake of thinking he's the president.
I thought you were rich because you live in such a big house. And it's in an upscale residential area. How can a police officer live in such a big house?
You've been rambling on about how our house is so big, but it's actually not that special to me. My husband's colleague's house and my junior colleague's house are similar. The house where we lived with my father was like this too, remember? Oh, maybe because you're living in a shabby house now. My house, which is just a common average house, looks like a big house to you.
Shut up.
Hit the nail on the head, didn't I? You've used up my father's inheritance, haven't you? You moved to a shabby place and are living in poverty, right? So, you went snooping around and you found our house. You found out that I was married, so you tried to steal my husband and have him marry Rebecca to get money, huh? You're such a dirty person.
Just hurry up and divorce your husband. I don't care if he's not the president at this point. It's so sad that he's married to an ugly woman like you. Let him marry my sweet Rebecca ASAP.
I think it's more sad if my husband is going to marry a criminal, don't you think?
What? A criminal?
As I said before, we have proof from security cameras. I also took screenshots of the texts we're exchanging right now. My husband has already contacted the authorities, and they are going to move on it.
Move on it?
To arrest you, I suppose.
What?
Damn you, ugly! You sent the police to our house? I opened the front door thinking it was a delivery service. Why are you texting me? Why don't you get caught already? I'm hiding in my room. Mom got caught. I see. I guess Madeline didn't have time to tell you what she and I discussed earlier. What is it? My husband, whom you fell in love with at first sight, is a police officer. What? He's not the president? You thought so too? Because Mom said he was the president. I was fooled. And it's definitely Mom's fault that the police came, right? The police came because you and your mother did something wrong. I don't understand. I didn't do anything wrong. You and your mother spray-painted graffiti on my front door and vandalized my flower beds. That's considered property damage. Huh? I see. You committed a crime without realizing it. I'm sure your mother took you for a ride. I honestly didn't think you were this stupid. What? A crime? Wait, Am I going to be arrested? Am I going to be put in jail and sentenced to death? I don't know how serious the penalty is, but a crime is a crime. You shouldn't hide. You should get out of there. Do you want the penalty to be more serious? Well... You're an adult. You should take responsibility for your actions. Ignorance is not an excuse. Now, if you'll excuse me. After that, Madeline and Rebecca were taken away by the police. They were arrested on suspicion of damage to property. As I thought, they had spent all my father's inheritance, and they had the intention of having my husband marry Rebecca and turning him into an ATM. But this plan was thwarted, so after Madeline and Rebecca were released, they had to live in poverty. Madeline, who had been a housewife for many years, and Rebecca, who had never even had a part-time job, had to go out into the world and work with sweat equity. It seems that it's tough for them to become full-time employees because of their criminal record. Plus, the two have a personality disorder that made it difficult for them to do a decent part-time job, and they're constantly being fired. As a result, they're forced to live in extreme poverty. I, on the other hand, moved to another place with my husband, and I'm living peacefully. Last week we found out that I'm pregnant, and I will be going on maternity leave soon. I will make sure that our children will be well educated, so that they will not become a crazy person like Madeline and Rebecca.
Hey sis, long time no see. Helen, why don't you respond? Who are you? Come on, don't act like you don't know me. I'm your little sister, Emma. Emma? I thought I blocked you 5 years ago. Why are you texting me? That's terrible. How can you block your own sister? Mom and Dad have cut me off, so when I ask them to give me your contact information, they ignore me. I had to create another phone number to contact you, you know. I can't believe you went through all that trouble to contact me. You must have something really important to tell me, right? What? I told you I will never forgive you. I told you never to contact me again. You're so cold. Are you still mad at me? It's been 5 years. Forget about the past. Besides, we're sisters. Can't I at least text you? I don't consider you my sister. You took my husband away from me. You may forget it, but I'll never forget it. You're still holding on to that? You're a vindictive sister, aren't you? Emma, you seduced my husband when I wasn't looking. Of course I'm still mad because you ruined my family. It couldn't be helped. It's your fault for letting your guard down. If you don't want to lose your husband, you need to refine yourself as a woman. If you're off guard after getting married, a hot girl like me would take your husband away from you. Well, in a way, I'm grateful to you too. Because of you, I realized that my ex-husband was a man who would be swayed by a slut like you. Don't talk like that. It's natural for a man to choose a beautiful woman over an ugly one. So what do you want? I'm busy right now. I don't have time for your nonsense. Nonsense? Oh, you're so icy. I had to tell you something today. What is it? I'm actually expecting a baby. Wow, congratulations. Aren't you surprised? Not really. Whose baby do you think it is? You stole Alex from me and you're having a baby with him, right? No, I'm not. Alex and I broke up a long time ago. What? You're divorced already? It's not that surprising, is it? Divorces are nothing unusual nowadays. It's natural to break up when love grows cold. Love grows cold? In your case, you stole my husband away from me to get married. That's how much you loved Alex, right? Mom and Dad couldn't forgive you for stealing my husband away from me. They even banned you from visiting their house. Of course I liked Alex at first, but after a year together I got bored. Bored? When we used to date while hiding from you, it was fun and thrilling. But when Alex was completely mine, there's not much stimulation. Alex is just an ordinary guy, you know. To be honest, it's boring to be with him. You ruined my family. You're such a terrible person. I'm sorry. I feel like I treated Alex like disposables. I should have returned him to you before throwing him away. No thanks. I don't even like Alex anymore. So you have a new husband now, right?
I'm not married yet.
What? You're okay with having a baby before getting married?
I'd like to avoid that, so I'm thinking I'll have to get registered soon. My boyfriend, who is the father of my baby, says he wants to marry me too.
Well, that's great. Well, I wish you all the best. The conversation is over now.
No.
What?
Helen, here's the thing.
Huh?
Who do you think is the father of the child?
I don't know.
He's going to be your sister's husband. You're not interested?
I'm not interested. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I'll give you a hint. He's the one who was closest to you.
Who's that?
Max.
Max?
Yep, I stole your husband again.
My husband?
Max is your husband. He's so cool. He's a famous dancer. You know, Helen, you found a pretty nice guy for a plain 30-something woman like you. I can't believe you got married to a super hot dancer before I knew it.
What?
But he's too good for you, so I stole him from you.
Max is not my husband.
Huh? What's wrong, Helen? Maybe you're too shocked. You don't even know who your own husband is?
I know what I'm saying. He's really not my husband.
I see. Poor Helen.
Huh?
You don't want to admit that your sister took your husband. That's why you're trying so hard to deflect reality.
I think I'm looking at reality. By the way, where did you meet Max?
My friend invited me to a group blind date and Max was there. I hadn't seen you for years. I didn't even know if you got married. So at first I just thought he was a really cool guy. But when I sat down next to him and talked to him, he surprised me. He was your husband. I flirted with him as much as I could.
Oh, I see.
It's a small world, isn't it? I'm sorry. I'm always stealing your important people.
No, it's okay. I don't really care about him. But are you sure you're okay with Max?
You're playing tough again. I'm sure your husband will ask you for a divorce soon. Be sure to comply straightforwardly. You and Max don't have any children yet, right? Just give up on him and look for another husband. You're already 32 years old. You'll lose your chance if you don't act soon.
You know what, Emma? Let me ask you something. Why did you think Max was my husband?
What? Max himself told me.
He did?
He said Helen is my wife, but he also said you're prettier than her, so I'm getting together with you.
I see.
That means you lost to me. Well, there's no way you can beat me, Helen.
I've always wondered, why do you go after my boyfriend or husband? Ever since we were teenagers, whenever I had a boyfriend, you always tried to steal him away.
It's payback.
What? Payback? Payback for what? Did I do something bad to you?
Ever since we were kids, you've been an honor student who's good at studying, playing sports. You've always had a good reputation among the teachers at school. I've always been compared to you, and I've always felt frustrated.
Huh? That's not my fault, is it?
Why is that? I had a rough childhood because of you. Do you know how I felt when I was always told that my sister was so much better than me?
It may have been hard for you to be compared to me, but you were always trying to look for an easy way out. You always tried to take it easy and never put any effort into your studies or sports. You were always skipping school. I wasn't born with talent. I worked harder than anyone else, and that's why I got the results I did.
There you go. You always told me to work hard. That kind of honor student attitude pisses me off.
Well,
I was a total failure in everything I did. The only thing I had that was better than you was my face, so I used my beauty as a weapon. That's how I decided to steal your boyfriends.
That's absurd. So you were competing against me for such a stupid reason.
When I stole your boyfriend and saw the look of frustration on your face, I felt a sense of accomplishment.
You're such a wicked person.
But don't worry, I'm satisfied now that I'm giving birth to your husband's child. This is the end of my revenge. I want to get married before the baby is born. You should just admit defeat and divorce your husband.
I'm not even married to him, and you're asking me to divorce him.
You may not like it, but I need to get married as soon as possible. I heard from a friend of mine. I heard that everything is just easier if you get married and start living together before the baby is born.
Oh, yes, so.
That's why I want you to leave your husband as soon as possible. In exchange, when the baby is born, I'll tell you first.
You don't have to tell me. Don't be shy. You want to see pictures of the baby, right? I don't need to see them. Don't say that. It's me and Max's baby. The baby is going to be so cute. I'll send you lots of pictures. Look forward to it. Helen, I'm so touched. Thank you for divorcing your husband so quickly. What? Thanks to you, Max and I are now a married couple. I'm so glad. To be honest, I was worried if you would leave your husband before I had the baby. But you're so kind, Helen. You backed down gracefully for your little sister's sake. I'll pay you compensation, so please forgive me for taking your husband away from you. I'm not divorced and I don't want compensation. What? Why are you lying? Do you regret leaving him now? I didn't leave my husband. Are you going to be so stubborn again? Max said he's single now. He's single because he divorced you. So you really got married to Max? That's right. You may have a hard time from now on, but hang in there. What? What do you mean hard time? He's a successful top-class dancer. I'm not going to have a hard time. Instead, I'm going to live a gracious life. A gracious life? So I'll pay you compensation as much as you want. I don't want compensation. Why not? I stole your husband away from you. You have the right to demand compensation from me. I think you're wrong about that. Anyway, I can't get compensation. You don't have to be so stubborn. Well, if you ever need money, just let me know. You're divorced and heading straight for poverty. You don't have to be shy. Okay. Helen, sorry to have kept you waiting. I gave birth to the baby of the man I stole from you. A cute little girl who looks just like Max. I'm sorry for you, Helen. He divorced you before I had the baby, but I'm happy I took away your happiness. I'll be happy for you. Max is crazy about our daughter, too. First of all, congratulations on the birth. But I'm going to say it again. That man is not my husband. Huh? I didn't tell you for a long time because you kept talking about it one-sidedly. I have a husband and a child. Of course, my husband is not Max. He's someone else. What? You've already remarried? If you have a child, does that mean your new husband had a child? No, I got married to my current husband 2 years after my divorce from Alex. Our child is 2 years old now. You're lying. So it's true that Max isn't your husband? That's what I've been saying all along. But he said you're his wife. Such a troublesome person. He has a habit of telling lies. So he was lying to me? It's true that after I divorced Alex, I started going out with Max, who was introduced to me by a friend of mine. But we were together only for a short time and we broke up early. Of course, we never got married. Then why did Max lie about you being his wife? When I broke up with Max, he made a big fuss saying he didn't want me to leave him. Max wanted to marry me. Even after we broke up, Max and his parents followed me around for a while. Oh my god, even his parents? After I started dating my current husband, they stopped following me. He had a desire for me to be his wife. Maybe that's what he told you, that I was his wife. Oh no, so you're saying that I wasn't able to take your husband away from you? I'm afraid so. You surprised me. We've only been dating for a little over a month. I couldn't believe he called me his wife. I was also horrified that Max was still obsessed with me. Helen, you should have told me that earlier. I was so happy to think I'd succeeded in plundering your husband. Well, he's my ex-boyfriend, so just let it go at that. No way. It's boring to be with a guy you've already broken up with. Let me ask you something. If you knew Max wasn't my husband, you wouldn't have married him? No, that's not true, because Max is a famous dancer. Too bad he wasn't your husband, but I got a rich and handsome husband. I'm happy with that. That's the thing. Emma, you believe he's a famous dancer? Wait, is that a lie too? Bingo. Ugh. Max probably said I'm a famous dancer. But Emma, have you ever been to one of his performances? Have you seen him on TV or on the internet? Come to think of it, I've never seen him perform. I know Max likes to dance, but he's by no means famous. He uploads his dance videos on video sites every once in a while, but the number of views is always in the single digit. What? So he's not a famous dancer, but a self-proclaimed dancer. He's actually a poor freelancer. A freelancer? Did you really think Max was a professional dancer? Well, he was practicing his dances very hard, and when he took off his clothes, he was so muscular. He's not muscular because he's a dancer. I think he's muscular because he works part-time doing hard labor. I broke up with him because he wanted to be a kept man. A kept man? It's fine to dream that he'll be a famous dancer someday, but in reality, he's a freelancer living off his parents' money. It's fine if he's earning enough to feed himself, even if he only has a part-time job. But in Max's case, he had no intention of becoming independent. He wanted to marry me, but I didn't want to support a dreamy kept man, so I left him quickly. Wait a minute. So Max married me so that he could be supported by me? Probably. You're a full-time employee. He probably thought he wouldn't have to work if he got married to you, and could devote himself to dancing. Oh no, you're terrible, Helen. Why me? If you told me about Max's true identity earlier, I wouldn't have gone after him. Well, you were about to have a baby. I couldn't say you shouldn't go for Max. Besides, you married Max because you liked his handsome face, right? True, Max is handsome, but handsome alone is not enough to make a living. I just had a baby and I can't support my husband by myself. Maybe it's too late to say that. You do your best to earn money, or you should get Max to work too. I've got an idea. Helen, let's trade husbands. What? I'll give Max to you. Give me your husband. Excuse me? You said you met your husband at your workplace, right? So your husband is a company employee, right? Yes, but I'd rather marry a stable company employee than a self-proclaimed dancer. What a nonsense. Husbands are not things. Don't say so easily that you want to trade husbands. You were so preoccupied with plundering my husband that you couldn't see Max's true nature. But you chose Max of your own will, and you already have a child. You should be happy with Max. That's impossible. I can't be happy with a dreamy freelancer. Well then, good luck taking care of the baby and your husband. I don't like this, Helen. Help me. What am I going to do now? Well, I don't know. You're on your own. Helen! Emma is still married to Max, a self-proclaimed dancer who's chasing his dream. Rumor has it that Emma leaves her child at a daycare center and works. Thus, she's exhausted from work, childcare, and taking care of her husband. She's now looking 10 years older than she used to look. Even if she tries to ask her parents for help, her parents have cut ties with her, so they won't help her. As for Max's parents, just like Max, they only think of depending on Emma, so they won't help Emma either. Emma regrets that it wasn't supposed to be like this. As for me, I am spending my lively days with my sweet husband and my lovely 2-year-old daughter. And recently I found out that I am pregnant with my second child. I'm looking forward to the birth of our second child together with my family.
I told you to stop bothering me, didn't I? What's your intention in lurking in front of my house like this? My intention? There's something I really need to tell you, sis. But push me away like that, I can't even get into the house. I couldn't tell a single thing I wanted to say. Your cute little sister went out of her to visit you, and this is how you treat me? My cute little sister? That's right. I'm cuter than you, both in looks and personality. I'm a super cute sister. Shut up. I've decided that I no longer have a little sister. Since graduating high school and moving out, I've cut ties with you. That's really harsh. I'm gonna cry, sis. So annoying. If it's an irrelevant story, don't contact me. Oh well. I don't get hurt at all by what my sad, ugly, and loser big sister says. Not at all. You're really acting like a loser. This is why I cut off ties with you. As usual, all you can do is look down on people. Isn't it your fault? Don't you understand that you're already losing to me in everything? Even your fiancé, Max. What? What I wanted to tell my big sister is this. I'm pregnant with his child. I'm sorry, sis. I know you are engaged to him. What? My poor sister. I know you're so shocked. I wish I could see your face right now. Since when? That's a good question. The day after you got engaged to him, I asked him out. I think we're destined for each other. I got pregnant right away. Then he said he chose me over my sad, ugly, boring sister. No way. So, does that mean Max has been cheating all this time? Even though we talked about the married life and the wedding, we were so excited about it. Yeah, I heard that you were so excited by yourself. Talking about your future home, how many kids you want, and sharing dreams with Max. I burst into laughter when I heard that, sis. Max's child is in me after all. You don't have to give birth anymore. Don't be ridiculous. You're always like that. You've always taken things from me. When I was little, you took my toys, my snacks, my allowance. When I was in high school, you took my boyfriend. I moved out of my parents' house to get rid of you and my parents who are always on your side. Well, too bad. Your ugly, worthless sister are destined to give everything to your pretty little sister. I mean, how did you know everything? Like my address and my engagement, I tried not to let anyone know about my life so that no one would ruin my life again. Max and I had a fateful encounter. I noticed right away that Max's fiancée was my sister. Max is well-educated, well-paid, tall, and handsome. He's too good for you. I can't believe you. Losers will always be losers. I mean, even if you whine about it now, you're doomed to have your engagement broken off. Max chose me. You're the one who got dumped by your fiancé, so shut up, okay, sis? Okay, whatever. Max is yours. Oh, you're giving up already? I'm not interested in cheating man anymore. Actually, I had second thoughts about this marriage. You may have saved my life. Gosh, stop pretending! Call it what you want. I'll give you one piece of advice. Watch out for his family. Oh wow, that loser is whining! Whining again and again! Max's father is an elite guy from the same big company as him. And his mom is beautiful and elegant, isn't she? Did you meet them in person? He showed me a picture of them. But you can tell they are nice people at first glance. I mean, there are no people with bad personalities in rich families. People like you, who are poor both in heart and wallet, may not understand it. Look who's talking. You're 29 years old and still depending on your parents. I'll be permanently employed as Max's wife soon. I'm gonna be a rich, beautiful, and elegant mama. Oh yeah? Do whatever you want. Then don't contact me anymore. Fine. Sis, help! I seriously need your help! My life is in danger! I'm going to your house now! Shelter me! Hey, why aren't you answering? You're reading this, right? Answer me! What? I told you not to contact me anymore, right? As for Max, I've already broken off the engagement, so feel free to do whatever, even get married. Don't mess around! You deceived me, right? What are you talking about? Don't play innocent with me! Max's family is insane! Ah, you finally noticed? That's why I gave you a warning. It's not my fault. You didn't listen. You are saying something like an elite father and an elegant mother, right? It was all lie. If you meet them in person, the father is a patriarchal and verbally abusive man, and he has a bad drinking habit. Moreover, he works for a knockoff company with a name similar to a major corporation. The mother is strict about etiquette, and she loves to bully me. Yesterday, I had to stand with a book on my head for 5 hours getting lectured on proper bridal etiquette. If I let my posture falter for even a moment, I would be punished by having the standing time extended. I'm pregnant, you know? This kind of bullying is unacceptable. Max and you are destined for each other, right? If that's the case, why not accept the abusive family too? That's impossible. His mother's surveillance is strict, and there's not much opportunity to run away. So, I've been aiming for the timing to escape. Tonight, she's going to a neighborhood gathering. Tonight is the only chance. I'm going to your house, so shelter me. Huh? Why? By the way, you haven't registered your marriage yet, right? Are you already living with your in-laws? I'm pregnant, and getting registered is a certainty. His mother insisted that I learn the ways of their house before officially becoming a wife. I've been living with Max's parents for a week now. That must be tough. I shudder to think of it. Max is so busy with work that he doesn't come home often. And his father gets drunk and violent every day, and his mother is a bully. It's a hellish life. Is Max busy with work? Yes. That's strange. Isn't it supposed to be a slow season at Max's office? After hours, all the lights go out. It's like no one's around. What? Sis, how do you know that? Didn't I tell you? My office is right next to where Max works. It's an office district, so that in itself is pretty common. We used to saw each other frequently at the lunch place we often go to. Actually, that's how our relationship started. What? That's the same as me. What? I met Max at a cafe near my parents' house. He told me how cute I was, and he seemed educated and rich. More importantly, I found out that his fiancée was you. So I asked him out. Oh, I see. What? I guess that's Max's usual strategy. Ironically, we both got caught that way. What? What do you mean? After I broke off the engagement, I was really pissed off. I hired a PI to investigate Max's background to see if there was any evidence that I could get alimony or something. And it just kept coming out one after another. It seems he had a 5-way affair. 5? No way! He broke up with some of them after he got engaged to me. But you and one other girl were still there. I guess that's the one that Max lied to you about being busy with work and was supposed to meet with. What? I believe she was a colleague of Max's. He's just lying that he was busy with work. He must really care about her to leave you pregnant and go on a date with her, right? That can't be true! That's an absolute lie! Sis, you're trying to lie about it just because you're frustrated that Max was taken away from you. I'm so surprised too. It's really a good thing I broke up with that man. I can't believe it! It's all your fault that things turned out like this! If you hadn't gone out with Max, I wouldn't have gone out with him or tried to get pregnant in a hurry. Say what you want. Even if you blame me, it won't change the fact. I thought he was the only one who grew up decent in a family with a harassing father and a bullying mother. There was a time when I was mistaken too. Max pretended to be a decent man until we got engaged. But that family is just like him. They are a family of monsters. Oh no! What am I supposed to do? I'm pregnant with his child! I guess being pregnant isn't enough to turn Max around, huh? I'm trying my best to be a good wife, enduring the harassment and bullying, you know. I'm pregnant, but I have to stand for a long time and I have to repeat the cleaning many times. I get yelled at and scolded. I'm at my limit. Why don't you run away to your parents' house? Mom and Dad love you so much, they'll keep you safe, right? I can't go to my parents' house. I got kicked out of my parents' house. Really? That's surprising. They have always loved you very much. They've been supporting you since I left home, even though you've been laid off. And now, all of a sudden, they disowned you? Well, I didn't know about that. Mom and Dad decided to kick me out of the house when I turned 30. They said I should stand on my own and not depend on them forever. Isn't that awful? That sounds like a perfectly reasonable thing to say. They were a bit on the same side, weren't they? So, I'm evacuating myself to your house tonight, okay? You'll help your cute little sister, won't you? You know where I live? Of course, I know where you live. I went to see you the other day. I moved out of there. What? I knew that if you and Max knew where I lived, I'd be in deep trouble. I moved after I broke up with Max. Then give me your address. Please, tonight is my only chance to escape. I don't want to. Why not? I'm glad what happened to Max turned out the way it did. But even without that, all you've ever thought about is stealing my thing from me. And looking down on people and making fun of them. I can't believe you're my sister and I'm not going to help you. Don't say that! Then give me the proof of the affair that the PI researched. Why? If I have proof of an affair, I can break off my engagement, right? No way! I will not give it to you. Now that you have a child, why don't you get married? I'm sure Max's stealing habit will calm down after the baby is born. Do you think a 5-timing guy can calm down? Anyway, I want to get out of this house. If I live in this place, I'll lose my mind. I'll give up my baby and start my life over. Do whatever you want. I'm not gonna help you. You're on your own. Oh, wait. What? I was packing to run away tonight. I think she might have seen me. No way! I knew it! She said she's not going out tonight. Of course she'd notice if you're packing. What an idiot. I have a lot of important things like clothes and jewelry. You know, there's something really wrong with this family. What now? I told her about Max's affair. She said a wife must forgive her husband's affairs with an open heart. That's terrible. Is it really your place to say such a thing? Max was my fiancé to begin with, but you stole him away from me. Well, considering you ended up together after cheating, I guess you have to forgive him for something like that. No way! I didn't take him away from you for this to happen. I took a well-educated, well-paid, good-looking man. I thought I was going to have an elegant and luxurious life. I don't know about the luxury life. What do you mean? I'm gonna anonymously leak the photo evidence of the affair when I go to Max's company. What? I told you earlier that Max's cheating partner is a coworker, didn't I? If it's known that he was juggling 5 relationships, including his fiancée, the woman he impregnated, and even a colleague, I wonder if they would kick him out of the company. Even if they don't fire him, I'm sure I could make it difficult for him to stay there. Why would you do that? Hey sis, think about it. Both of us were victims of Max's 5-way affair, right? Why are you being so cold to me? How can you call us the same victim? You flirt with him on purpose to steal him from me. At that point, you're not a victim. But that's terrible! If I don't do something about it, I'll end up in Max's parents' house where I'll be harassed and bullied by his parents. I'm gonna break down from the stress. You deserve it. Oh no! I even have a baby in my belly! Don't worry. Even if Max becomes unemployed, his in-laws will still be there. I told you I don't want that! Give me back my life! If you don't want to be dependent on your in-laws, why don't you work after the baby is born? My parents kicked you out because they wanted you to be independent, right? Oh no! Well, good luck, sister. Soon after that, I anonymously leaked the photo evidence of the affair to Max's company. It seems Max's affair partner went crazy and it turned into a chaotic situation, but Max brazenly told his affair partner that he had a pregnant fiancée and asked to break up. Amy wanted to break up with Max, but Max told her that he only loved Amy, who was pregnant. He resigned from the company, which had become difficult for him to stay, and devoted himself to taking care of the pregnant Amy, or rather, monitoring her. The other day, Amy gave birth to a healthy baby boy. After the child was born, Amy found it increasingly challenging to leave her in-laws' home. Her father-in-law harassed her, and her mother-in-law bullied her. Furthermore, Max, possibly getting along well with his next affair partner, has stopped coming back home. Thank you for watching. Please rate the video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.